don't see Josh yet, so I'm going to send him a text. But in the interest of time, do we want to go ahead and get started with our procedures?
Start with the pledge.
Yeah, let's do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for
which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice.
Okay.
What happened?
Perfect. Sorry, had to catch my desk to stand. Anybody have an inspirational quote or invocation they would like to provide?
Yeah. Okay.
I'll do one.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. The reasonable person adapts themselves to the world. The unreasonable person insists on trying to adapt the world to themselves. Therefore, all progress comes from unreasonable people, which is kind of weird.
Who said that?
It's an aphorism in some collection that I got. It didn't have an attribution.
Cool. Thank you for sharing.
Sure.
All right. So we'll go ahead around, and I see one guest who is Doug Taylor, our speaker today. Don't see any other guests. I've not heard back from Josh, so I'm guessing he is tied up at the moment. So, trying to find my agenda to make sure I'm on task here. Does anybody have any announcements? We'll go there first. Dan.
Our time for Jericho Table is Friday, November 12th this month. And I've got one person already volunteered. If one more person wants to volunteer, that would be great. Just send me a message or an email or something, and that's what I have. Thanks.
Yeah. Is that different because normally we're the first Friday of the month?
Yeah, November and December are always different. So we're on the 12th of November, and then I think it's the 10th of December this year. So it's a little off schedule.
Got it. Okay.
I have an announcement.
Dan.
Yeah, Redmond Hospice has a memorial for veterans from Redmond, and there's going to be a ceremony at 2:00 on the 11th of November after the Veterans Parade at the Redmond Hospice to put up another name. 61 more names go on the wall in that ceremony. And both Frank and I are on that panel today. So if you're interested in veterans and honoring veterans, you might consider showing up.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for your patience. I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late. And thank you for that. Any other announcements before we continue on? Amber, go ahead.
I just wanted to let everyone know that the Shop with the Cop is going to be at the Senior Center Friday from 8:30 to 9:30. I know typically Kiwanis donates some funds to that, and I didn't know if everyone knew because it just came together that that's where they're going to have it. So I wanted to make sure everyone knew that that obviously is a great event to attend and donate to.
Perfect. Thanks.
Amber, I have a check for that, but usually that goes to Gary Olershaw. He hasn't come by to pick it up. Should I get that to somebody else so they can do that? Anybody?
Yeah, I'm happy to do it, or Amber, if you'd like to.
Okay, I'll give it to Jenny, Josh, and okay.
Yep, that works fine. Let's see, birthdays this week. We have Eric Coughlin, whose birthday is today. Rachel McDonald has a birthday on Saturday, and then Mr. Alan Unger's birthday is next Tuesday. So happy birthday to you guys. Happy birthday, Alan. I don't see Earl. We did want to, oh, he's here, I suppose, but we want to remind you guys that December 4th is the collection day for the food drive. Anything to add to that, Earl, or are we just still moving forward with that?
No, that takes care of it. If you need a bag, we have bags down at the Chamber of Commerce office.
Perfect. Hannah, do we want to give an update real quick about See's Candy?
Yes, thank you. I was just texting her and then she said she sent an email. Oh my gosh. Anyway, what it is that, oh, here it is. Oh, wow. The Spokesman Suites, which is where the Spokesman used to be. And wow. Oh, an in-kind donation to assist your fundraising efforts at a value of $1,250. We will provide our front lobby area, storage for supplies in a secured closet, and advertising for the event on the marquee facing 6th Street throughout the duration of your See's Candy sales camp. We are grateful for your community support and look forward to hosting your event. And the Spokesman Suites, that's a really cool new business. And Diana Barker gave me this idea. They rent office space, like even by the hour, and they have a conference room and they answer phone calls. And so they want more attention to their building too. So we'll be providing that for them. And of course, we'll put them down on our poster,
That's great.
Donating.
That's terrific.
It is. And then I signed us up for the kiosks, the Chamber of Commerce holiday market for Black Friday, small shopping Saturday, and then all the Saturdays up to December 11th. Then also Central Oregon Pharmacy, they have a sort of a vintage gift shop area, and we can put, it's See's 100th centennial, 100th anniversary. And so we'll put some of our vintage centennial candy in there and they'll sell it.
Perfect.
And then also we want to have an email for your out of town family. So you can send them an email and they can order. So that's
Hannah, you're awesome at this. Good job. I was blown away by your email.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're all set.
Thanks, Hannah.
Good
Thanks
job.
for all your hard work on that.
Thank you.
My last announcement is I'm out of town next week. So Michelle's going to be leading you guys. So make sure you're nice to her, please. We don't want to scare her away. All right, let's move into happy dollars. Who's happy this week? Michelle, go ahead.
So happy you guys, John and I both are. We got to do Parents Weekend with Olivia at U of O. We went to the game, had a great time. And at the game, you guys know I'm a huge Beaver fan, but even I was blown away. Marcus Mariota was there because it was homecoming week. Sabrina, and I'm going to say it wrong, Anescu, did I say it right? So anyway, it was super exciting to be with Olivia. She's doing fabulous. And thank you guys. I know you guys all give her love and support from afar. And I also just wanted to say, John, I'll do 10 happy dollars because I also want to say thank you to everyone who came to our Ribbon Rock Trails ribbon cutting. We had such great support there. It was awesome to be embraced by the Redmond community the way you did. And I just really appreciate all of you. So thank you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Michelle. Lots of reasons to be happy. Earl, go ahead.
I have 3 happy dollars. First of all, I'm happy for my Michigan State Spartans. They did a nice job against Michigan. I'm also happy to let you know that the Redmond Key Club has done very well selling cotton candy at the football games, which is a good deal for our kids. And thirdly, I'm happy that we've got to play golf yesterday. My wife and I are going out right after we get done with this meeting.
Awesome. Thanks, Earl. John Duff.
I'm gonna just say some things and then we'll add it up at the end. Would like to also second what Michelle said. We had a great time in Eugene. Got to see the Ducks win. We had great seats, and you just forget how big those players are when you're down on level with them. I think we were 6 rows up, and man, are they big. They are just awesome. But it was great to beat Colorado. And I would also like to throw in a couple dollars for little brothers all over the place that like to beat up on the big brother every now and then. So go Michigan State. Second, the other one is Redmond JV football team played Monday, beat Ridgeview, ended the season 7-1. Our only loss was to Silverton, which is I think ranked number 1 or 2 at the varsity level. So successful season for the JV guys. Looking forward to next year, and kind of sad to see the season end because they're playing really well right now. And then the last one, it is Husky week for the Ducks, and kind of like Michigan, there's nobody you want to beat more than the Huskies. So go Ducks. I guess. Oh, of course, one more. The Braves. My Braves won the World Series last night. So weren't supposed to do it. They were a sub 500 mid-season. So happy to see the Braves get their first title in 26 years. So how many is that, Josh?
I lost count, John. 6, 5.
All right, we'll go with 7.
Alan says 10.
Yeah.
Ian, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll throw in $5. I won't be here next week because I'm taking a road trip to California to see my 2 boys. And the youngest one just bought a $50,000 bass fishing boat, which I'm not sure if we're going to get to take out, but I think we're going to get to pick up at least. So it's going to be fun.
Well, that is fun. Wow. Very cool. Carl, is that your hand up there? Yeah.
Yes, I have 100 pesos. Ginger taking a trip to Puerto Vallarta tomorrow, so we will miss you next week.
Fantastic. Well,
What's
have
the conversion
fun.
rate?
Yeah, I think it's
Sounding pretty sparse for next week.
Yeah. Dan Tippy.
you're on mute, Dan.
I've got $5 happy dollars, and certainly a couple of them got to go towards the Spartans. I sat on the edge of my chair a lot last Saturday, so really happy with their victory. I got some more happy dollars there. I've been gone for a few weeks, been helping a friend of mine out with some work, and happy to be back. So happy $5.
Excellent. Well, thanks for coming back. We're glad to see you. Chris.
I've got $2 happy dollars for going elk hunting last week and making it to level 2, which means you see an elk. Level 10 is when you actually get an elk. So level 2, and then $3 happy dollars because I got to take my 6-year-old son with me, and that was a good father-son bonding time.
That's awesome.
And he was patient for the most part. So 5 total.
Nice. Did he get to shoot any like squirrels or anything?
No, he just kicked some pine cones around.
Okay.
No.
All right. Fair enough.
He did not have a gun.
So I have a few happy dollars. I'll just count them kind of on my hand here. So last Friday was the Chamber Golf Tournament. Had a super fun time. We played for Team Edward Jones. We did miss Chris, but we still had a good time. I had a very successful month here at work. So I'm really, really pleased about that. Halloween was super fun. We live in Canyon Rim Village, which is the hot spot here in town. We gave out, I think, 1,200 pieces of candy and still had a bowl left. So we were prepared for the worst, and it wasn't that bad, but it was still a long evening. What else? Gosh. Oh, next week I am going to the beach for a whole week. So that's super exciting. I will be gone. And we'll just round up to $5 happy dollars because overall I have 0 complaints. Life is good. Anybody else?
So when are we
Truman, I
going
see
back
you.
to Jupiter or Juniper? When are we going back to Juniper?
And we are hoping to do that very, very soon. Amber, did you end up getting the owl?
The owl arrived last night, so I'm excited. I didn't have time to get it out and start looking at it yet, but I'm hoping to do that before the end of the week and set up a couple of meetings to try and see how it works and make sure I have a good idea of it.
So I was talking to Marv Kaplan. I know a bunch of you guys know Marv, and he said that the Rotary has been using the owl since March, April, something like that. They've been meeting live and using the owl. And he said that if we have any questions or want help setting it up, we can do so. He said it does work at Juniper with their current TV setup. So that was super good to know, because I know that was an issue, is we have to have that smart TV. Chris, yeah.
Josh, I might want to clarify for those not in the know, what's the owl?
Oh, I might let Amber discuss that. She knows a lot more about it than I do.
So it's a device. You can put it on a table or you can put it on a stand, and it's made for hybrid meetings where people that are at home can see, and the people that are in person, the owl basically tracks whoever's talking. So when it hears someone talking, it turns its focus to that person so you can see them, and it tunes into what they're saying. So it is supposed to make it a very clear for the people that are home and when there's a large group of people in a room.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a really good solution. And so that way, and to your question, right, those of us that feel safe getting together can do so. And then those of us that prefer to stay at home on the Zoom setting can do that as well. And so assuming all goes well, we could probably start that up mid-November or something like that.
Cool.
Juniper's ready for us. So they're ready to let us resume last Wednesday. So it's just doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave's got a video.
Any conferencing software, and 360 camera and microphone capture the entire room, so everyone can feel fully present, even if they're not. You get a panoramic view, and the meeting owl automatically focuses on who's talking. Here's my perspective. And my perspective over here. So everyone can share their ideas, no matter where they're coming from. Even me. What if I narrate the video from home? Great. So that's our video. That was easy.
Thanks, Dave. That's helpful. That kind of gives you guys a quick visual of what that can look like when you're on the receiving end at home. Yeah, I think it's going to work really, really nice. And so, Amber, thank you so much for heading that up and being willing to buy it. That's huge. That's huge. So, all right. Any other happy dollars before we move into the joke of the day?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Say
Oh,
something.
Truman.
Yes, I am so happy I can hardly talk. I can't afford the number of dollars I'd have to give you for the reduction in tension and anxiety in our house. For Hannah's finally locating 2 places for us to sell, 3 places actually, for us to sell See's candy. I really am so much in admiration of her salesmanship and willingness to keep going when we had no idea how this was going to come out. So yeah, $5 minimum.
I heard 5,000, but no, you're good. Thanks, Truman. Yeah, Hannah, thank you so much for that. Your efforts are just above and beyond. It was really, really helpful for us to have that place. Okay, I don't see any more hands, so we'll go through the joke here, and then Doug, you've got the floor. All right, so the question today: air used to be free at the gas station. Now it's $1.50. Does anybody know why?
Inflation.
Got it. Perfect. And knows. All right, Doug, we set the bar pretty low for you. So hopefully, no, I'm kidding. But thank you so much for being here. We would love to learn more. So go ahead. The floor is yours.
Well, everybody, I'm Doug Taylor. I'm the assistant principal and athletic director at Redmond High. I just want to thank you guys for having me and letting me speak. Michelle had reached out and asked if I'd come chat with you guys about RHS athletics and, you know, what our goals are and that sort of thing. So I'll just go through some stuff, and then if at any time you guys have any questions, just holler and I'd be happy to answer anything. So first of all, a little bit about myself is I'm a a product of Redmond High School. So I graduated Redmond High in 2004. I actually had Mrs. Tippy as a middle school teacher back at Obsidian. So pretty blessed to be able to come back to my community and serve my community that really I was a product of and benefited from myself. So I'm pretty fortunate to be here and raise my family here. So, so first of all, with athletics, we offer 17 OSA sports at our high school. One new position that we did add this year is we added a girls wrestling coach. Girls wrestling is one of the fastest growing sports in the country. OSA doesn't necessarily have a separate girls athletic or I guess wrestling program, but they're starting to pop up. And so we decided to invest in a girls specific wrestling coach to kind of help foster that need and sport out there for our young ladies. I think last year we had about 11 girls participate in wrestling, and it relieves a lot of tension when they can wrestle with other females instead of the boys. So pretty good opportunity there for our young ladies. Our mission at Redmond High School is we want competitive excellence in academics, athletics, and character. And that's our motto, and that's what we strive to do. Probably character being of the highest priority and athletics being the lowest priority. You know, we want to produce positive young adults. So when they leave Redmond High School, you know, they have character traits and the academic background where they can have as many options available to them as possible. So when you guys shared a quote, I was thinking of one quote that I really liked, and it's from Bobby Knight, which is a questionable, you know, character guys at some point, but he said the will to succeed is important, but not nearly as the will to prepare. And so we believe that with our coaching staff is having the will to prepare our kids to be successful when they do go out in the real world and have to deal with life. And athletics is a mode that we use in order to teach those character traits and priorities and life skills that our young men and women, you know, need to be successful in the future. So with that is, you know, we have 17 coaches in-house. We have about 45 paid stipend coaches through the district. 17 of those, and a couple of them do multiple sports, but we have 17 in-house coaches. So they teach or they work here in the building, and then they also coach. We believe that's one of our priorities when hiring. We want quality educators, but we get a greater bang for our buck when, you know, we get a math teacher that is also willing to spend extra time coaching and has the ability to properly coach, because the more often you can get a caring adult in front of a kid, you know, from 7 to 3 is great, but from 7 to 6 is even better. So that's one of our priorities when we look at teachers and coaches is what else can they do to benefit our kids. I think sports in general it's been really a highlight this last year during COVID of how important it is to the mental health and the well-being of our kids. You know, being shut down, I couldn't imagine being a kid going through you know, what we've gone through the last year and a half. And sports has really been an outlet for a lot of kids, and we've recognized it as crucial to kind of their mental health, their social well-being. And you know, with that, last year we had kind of a modified season through OSA. We didn't have any state championships. We were able to create opportunities, but it was a lot more limited than your typical high school experience. And just to kind of share with you some statistics that we had, it was at the beginning of last year, we had what we call a season 1, where we kind of did mini schedules for all of our athletics. And between Redmond and Ridgeview High School, we had 616 kids participate in that, which were just under 2,000 total population. So we had about 30% of our students participate in those athletics. And at a time where kids were really struggling academically in their grades with distance learning, that 30% of students only accounted for 10% of the course failures throughout the school year. So, you know, I think it's going to show that There's another level of accountability with athletics. So our coaches are on the kids, one, to stay eligible, to pass their classes so they can continue to compete, but it's also contact and a different relationship that a coach has that could say, hey, Jimmy, we really need you to get your grades up. We want to see you graduate and keep those kids on track to graduation. So that was huge. Right now, this fall, we had our typical OSAA schedule, and we had 200 at Redmond High. We had 212 kids participate in football, cheerleading, boys and girls soccer, and boys and girls cross country. So some good participation numbers right now. We always try to improve. At Redmond High, we tell incoming freshmen that we would like them to be involved in 3 things in their high school career, whether that's a club or athletics, because we know how beneficial it is to them in their success and graduation. Let's see. So 212 kids. As far as success on the field, our football team, unfortunately, we lost to our south of Redmond rival Ridgeview at the last game, but we were in a position where if we won that game, we would have gone to the playoffs. It was a great community event. We had probably a record amount of people come to watch that. When we charge gate fees, on a typical football game, we make about $2,000. We made over $5,000 last Friday, which was awesome. It's good to see the whole community out there and supporting all the kids. It was pretty fun. Our girls soccer team qualified for the state playoffs for the first time in 12 years. So that program has really been growing. Martha Segura is our head coach, another Redmond High product. And she's doing great things. And they lost last night to Corvallis High School 4-1 in the playoffs. It was 1-1 at halftime. The Corvallis coach came over and it made me proud. And I know it made Coach Segura really proud. He said, hey, this is the first tough game we've had all year. And said we weren't ready for that. And they were kind of surprised because we started mostly sophomores and a few freshmen and one senior. And so they were kind of shocked. So that was a nice compliment of our program. Our boys soccer program, they were right into the playoff hunt. They just missed it, finished in 4th place in the conference. However, they did have more wins this year than they've had the last 10 in league in the last 10 years. So they're kind of on the up and up. And I think a big part of that is Scott Lee, our head coach. We just hired him to be in building. And so he's seeing those kids every day and building a positive culture within our boys soccer program and having them in for lunch, talking about academics and just being a positive role model on a daily basis, which we hadn't had in the past. And then our cross country team, our numbers are a little bit down there, but we do have a new coach and he's growing the program, and we've had some individual success with cross country as well. So our cheerleading program, we have about 30 girls, which is that's pretty high compared to what we've had in the past. Last year they placed 4th in the state in their competitive cheer routine, and they're continuously building. So with success tends to breed success, and we got a great foundation to build on. And I think we have coaches in place that are willing to invest in our young people and see them successful. And that doesn't mean just athletically. That's academically, that's within their character and their personal lives as well. So some of the struggles that we've dealt with this year, transportation's been a big one. And I'm sure you guys have seen in our news, Redmond School District is desperately short of bus drivers. Monday through Friday, we don't have any transportation for athletics with yellow buses. And so it becomes exponentially more expensive to get charter buses and that sort of thing. So I get a $105,000 budget for athletic transportation in a typical year. So far we've only got through a third of our athletic season. We have spent about $45,000 of that, having to get charter buses and, just to get, we don't want to put it on parents. If a kid has to get to, Pendleton, who's in our league, to a game, that's really difficult for a lot of families. And then it becomes an equity issue, and some of the kids that need it the most aren't able to go. We have invested more money into transportation because we do feel like it's an equity issue, and we don't want to put that on our families. Finding workers at games is a challenge, especially with COVID. We have to monitor certain COVID protocols, and it's become pretty difficult to do that. So finding people to run gate and tickets and scoreboard, that sort of thing, it has been a challenge. But we've got it done, and a lot of people graciously step up, and the same ones over and over, which is good. But it would be nice to get more people there. One of the things we're looking at is tutoring. After school, especially on Wednesdays, our kids get out at 1:20, and our teachers aren't released from the day because we got trainings to go to start practices until 3. So we're looking at trying to develop a tutoring program for our athletes, especially during that time period. So that's just one of the things, whether it's our National Honor Society students, we're working through to get extra academic support and use that time wisely, because if kids go home, some kids that live out in Crooked River Ranch aren't able to come back. So just using that time productively. Some of the things that we are looking forward to, well, does anybody have any questions? I guess I'm kind of rambling. Nobody?
I do, Doug. Sorry.
Yeah, go for it, Coach.
Can you talk a little bit more about why we can't take it? I know there's a driver shortage, but taking yellow buses on long trips. I know there's an issue there with how long a bus driver can drive that's employed by the school district.
Yeah. So bus drivers have it's a 14-hour time limit, yellow bus drivers. So the moment they come on the clock, so they get to the bus barn down here by Redmond High and start going through their pre-trip inspection to the moment they get back and they do their post-trip, they have 14 hours. And when we're traveling to Pendleton on a yellow bus is about a 4-hour drive. That gets eliminated pretty quick. So 4 hours to Pendleton, 3-hour football game, and then 4 hours back, without stopping to eat, we're pushing that. They usually do about a half-hour pre-trip inspection and everything. Not to mention on Fridays, we just don't have the drivers to take those trips. The weekends are a little bit better. We do have some drivers. It's optional. They gotta accept those. The weekends we have had a little bit more luck with yellow buses, but during the week we just haven't. So then it becomes, we get a charter. We do have 2 charter companies that we work with. One, Pacific Crest, and they're actually pretty reasonably priced. And one is Northwest Navigator, and those are significantly more expensive, about double. And they're the ones usually the most available. So does that answer your question there, Coach?
Yes, it does. I knew there was a time limit on how much somebody could drive without having to take a rest or
and we
check off the clock.
Yeah, we have worked through where if we can get 2 drivers, one rides along and then takes over. So we've done that. We were able to get a yellow bus to a volleyball tournament in Portland earlier this year, and those things last forever. Volleyball tournaments, you never know when they're going to end. So we were actually able to put them up in a hotel for 8 hours, and that helped. But that's not always feasible either. So just struggles, and those are things that we work through consistently, and those aren't necessarily new struggles either.
You might talk about type 20s too.
Yeah. So type 20s they're short buses. They're 14 passenger buses. Redmond High School, we have 4 of them, and we have several coaches that are certified, and to get certified to drive a type 20 bus is about a 2-hour class through our transportation department. And then 2 hours of drive time of behind the wheel training with the Redmond School District trainers. We took those up to Connell, Washington for a football game on the last minute. We took 3 type 20s I drove, one of the coaches drove, and we had a member of our grounds crew and assistant baseball coach volunteer to drive up too. And those are they get crammed pretty quick, especially when you got all the gear and, 14 kids on a small bus. It's tight, even though they hold them. With those, some of the problems is one, we send a coach, if they're driving a type 20, we send a coach to Pendleton. They're teaching half the day, then they drive, then they get there and they coach, and then they got to drive back. That wears you out. It really wears you out. And so, coaches they're willing to do what it takes to get our kids playing time, but it also puts a big strain on them and a big responsibility with our kids, driving and staying up and staying focused and engaged that many hours. So I've driven several places. I enjoy watching our kids compete. And so, I'm not having to coach while I'm there. So I'm more than willing to drive. The struggle there is getting our coaches certified. Transportation department is slammed. And so finding time where they can do the behind the wheel training with our coaches has been a challenge. So yeah, that's kind of a short-term solution, the type 20s. And it got us through this year. So far. Yeah, Earl.
I just wondered how much, kind of a round figure, Coach, but if someone wanted to sponsor a trip, let's say, the Pendleton is probably about as far as you're going to go, I guess. But what kind of numbers are you talking about?
Well,
if football team to Pendleton.
If we look at like transportation and a meal, like for the team meal, so transportation to Pendleton on a school bus is about $1,600. Transportation to Pendleton on a charter bus for Pacific Crest is about $1,900. And then usually for a team meal, you're looking between $300 and $400, like for pizza, after a game or something like that. That's about what the cost is for a trip to Pendleton. And Pendleton's one of our longer trips, if not our longest planned trip.
Do you have any problems with inside the organization, with inside the school? If someone should donate money, can you get at it? I mean, sometimes there's issues with.
Yeah. So when we take donations, they just have to be noted to athletics, and it gets specifically put in our athletic. I have a sponsorship account. So when companies buy field signs or donate money, it goes into that sponsorship account, and then I can use it or allocate it however we need to. Also, all of our individual sports, so football, baseball, wrestling, all those sports have specific ASB accounts where their fundraised money goes into those accounts, and they're more or less they're free to use it. However they need. Granted, it's got to get approval through me, but it could be food for kids, a team meal. It could be hotel rooms. It could be extra transportation. It could be, equipment, facilities upgrades, and any of that stuff. So as long as the donation would be noted, like, hey, I want to donate to, a Pendleton trip, or I want to donate for a new bench in a facility or something like that, we could put it in the right place. Yes. And our district, I will say, has been very supportive of athletics. Last year during COVID, where the bench schools were kind of completely shut down and nobody was able to use their facilities, our school district recognized the importance of athletics with our kids. And we did everything we could to make it happen, including hosting the bench schools on several occasions because they weren't able to use theirs.
Coach, that's an adjacent kind of question. Having coached myself, I would hate to be the driver.
Yeah.
Can a regular citizen go through the training and be available to you?
So yes. So there's a process we would have to go through, and that process would be your typical volunteer form, volunteer through the school district. And then from there, it's just going through the Redmond School District transportation course to get the type 20. Some of that, our cross country coach, our new cross country coach, is a retired teacher from Minnesota. And he's willing to get his CDL, actually kind of go above and beyond, get his CDL and be able to actually drive a school bus. And when he's not coaching, in the off season, he'd drive other teams. So there is a way to do that. And that's something that, if you guys know of people that would be willing to do that, get them in touch with me and we could start that process, because the driving, especially with those type 20s, that's a big issue. Bend School District was sending self-transporting, kids were self-transporting, like even over the mountain, to the Salem area. I don't feel good about that. I don't, from there you say, hey, parents, it's your job to get kids over there. And what you have is a lot of kids driving over there themselves. And to me, that's a huge liability, even though they do sign waivers. Just on my conscience, knowing you have those kids driving over the mountain.
Alone over the mountain.
Yeah. So I don't want to be in that position. So anytime we're able to provide transportation, we're going to do it. We're going to make sure it happens. One of the talks that we're having right now, and we have it every 4 years, is reclassification at the state level. And right now we're in the middle of it, and they should have a decision by the end of December. Right now it's looking like we're probably going to be back with the Bend schools, with the opening of Caldera High School. That's going to lower their enrollment numbers a little bit. And there's pros and cons to it. On the con side, we're pretty competitive with our league right now, and we've seen a lot of success in programs that haven't been traditionally successful in the last 10 years, which hurts, when you get with the Bend schools and you see our volleyball program that made state for the first time in a while, and girls soccer, we get back in the Bend schools and we might be kind of middle of the pack, bottom of the pack again. But that's my job, and that's our coach's job to build it back up, and we're up for that task. It will drastically, cut down our transportation and the amount of trips and the amount of time kids are out of class, and probably raise revenues for gate fees, because people from Bend are going to come over and watch a game where not many people from Pendleton or the Dalles Hood River are going to. So there's definitely pros and cons to it, and that's in process now.
Doug, what is the cutoff for school population? Is it 1,000 kids between 5A and 6A?
Right now it's 1,200. 1,200 is the cut between 5 and 6A. There in the last proposal, it's 1,999. So the Bend schools are projecting to be in, just right around 900. When Caldera is full, and so we're probably about 800. How they calculate athletics. So when they calculate ADM or our school population for athletics, one, they don't include our senior class for whatever reason. And then two, they take free and reduced lunches, the socioeconomics of a school into account. And so while our normal population is around 950, our athletic numbers is just over 800.
So when the Bend schools redistrict, our kids that are normally, like, let's say a Bend High student, are they forced to go to the new Caldera if they're in that new Caldera district, or can they opt out and go to Bend?
Well, what they're doing now is they've only started with the freshman and sophomore class right now. And so they redrew the boundaries, and certain kids are supposed to go, but it's only going to affect the freshmen. So the freshmen are going to come in that are in that boundary, and they're going to go to Caldera if they're supposed to. And then the sophomores and juniors that are already there will just continue to to be there. I believe they gave the kids the option this first year of staying at their home school or going to the new school. But as the new freshman classes come in, that won't be the case.
Okay.
So it'll be another 2 years before they're actually full, 9th through 12th grade.
When would the new classification take effect? In the fall?
Next year, yeah, in the fall.
Okay.
So right now we can't really plan any schedules or anything until we get that, squared away for who we play and that sort of thing. So any other?
I really appreciate it. What you guys do there is really important for the kids. Like you said, just not what they learn in the classroom, but it's interacting with those coaches and other adults. So appreciate you doing that.
You want
Thanks, sir.
raise your hand?
Yes, I'm trying
Yeah,
to.
Truman, did you have a quick question?
Yes, I'm not interested in driving a school bus. Believe me, I'm not. But I am interested in tutoring if that's something we could work on. You said Wednesday afternoon would be the spot.
Yeah.
I have a conflict with SMART, with the little kids. We haven't started yet. So I might be willing to work something out with you and your boys that need a little extra work. I'm a former English teacher from a community college.
All right.
So that would be the area I'd be willing to talk to them about.
That would be great. And actually our football program kind of started this. And what they did was they required all freshmen on Wednesdays to go to tutoring. All of them, all freshman football players. Okay. And then any other football player that was receiving below a 70%, below a C. And they're kind of ticket out once grade checks started coming out, is if they weren't receiving below a 70, including freshmen, then they didn't have to go. It was a good incentive, for those kids, but it also gave them extra support too. And we did have our National Honor Society kids in there helping provide the tutoring, which was a good opportunity for them as well, to get some community service and that sort of thing. We would like to expand that beyond football. We just have to have the people to be able to do that, as most of our staff that can supervise that is in meetings. So that would be great.
Okay. And you'd be the one to get in touch with, or?
Yes, sir. Yep. We would need volunteer forms, just like, any other opportunity. And, it sounds like if you're in the SMART program, you might already have that stuff done.
Already on your books, I think.
Yeah. Coach Duff?
Yeah, Bob, sorry, I feel like I'm doing most of the talking here. Apologize. But there's a whole lot of construction going on the property. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So this is pretty exciting. So we're getting some turf fields and they're more or less, they are the school district's fields, but they're going to be considered community fields. And so over on the Jaquas Sports Complex between us and Hartman Elementary, they're putting in a multi-use turf field. And what's going to be there is a baseball, softball field, and then it's going to be lined for a football, soccer, and lacrosse as well. Lights are going up, so it's going to be a really cool project. They're supposed to be laying turf, I believe, on the 15th. So it's coming right along. I think it's going to create a lot of opportunities for Redmond in general. I know turf's kind of one of those things that, hey, do we really need it? And one of the examples I can give was in Medford. So down in Medford, they put a 3 multiplex turf field, baseball, softball complex, and it was pretty expensive. And within 3 years, they had made that money back just because it got used all the time. And everybody wants to come to Redmond. Everybody wants to come to Redmond in the winter because, skiing and that sort of thing. And people want to come to Redmond in the summer because, Smith Rocks and just the fishing and all that kind of stuff. So we believe that turf field is going to give a elite facility to a place that people already want to come. And there's big bucks in hosting tournaments and that sort of thing. we have an outside group that hosts one. That I did it when I was coaching baseball as a fundraiser. We would do field work for it, and they would charge $1,200 a team to enter, and they had over 100 teams between Bend and Redmond. And with us getting those fields before Bend, we can establish ourselves as the place for these tournaments and create more revenue for the district and the community and our athletic program as well. It gives us fundraising opportunities to compete. You can't have a state playoff game at the semifinal level in baseball on a grass field. It has to be on a turf field, and same thing with soccer too. So, it gives our kids an opportunity to be on a pretty cool facility.
You said new lighting. They're going to be lighting there too.
So there's going to be lighting in there too. Yeah, they're supposed to raise those. I want to say by the end of the week. They got the base of the posts already done and the conduit laid and everything, and should be going up soon. So, again, in the summer, you could play 24 hours a day if you want.
That'd be great.
So some of the other things that we're looking at project wise is just like, pretty basic stuff, benches for our facilities. Right now out of the JV baseball field, we rob the benches for soccer, and we take them out and put them out there. Baseball, softball, field hitters' eyes, just kind of small things, continuously upgrading that we don't necessarily have a budget for. So we got to plan a couple years ahead and we work on and get those up, and they're not overly expensive. They're doable, but it just takes a couple years to do.
Is there plans for indoor baseball practice area for the wintertime?
Oh, there's lots of plans.
Okay.
Yeah, lots of plans. It would be nice, but nothing set yet. Maybe I should reframe it as dreams. Lots of dreams, but no set plans yet. We're hoping that with the turf field at the Jakewood complex that maybe that can kind of spur some of that. I know last winter, several basketball teams from Redmond, Ridgeview, and our youth programs went over. They were going constantly over to Boise to play in tournaments. In the part of the reason was Boise was open and allowing those things, and we weren't. But they were used all the time, and having a facility like that here would be pretty neat. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me. If nobody has any questions, really appreciate it. My door's all open anytime, so if you have people that come into the community that want to get involved, we'll find ways to get them involved or just to chat. And I think athletics is a huge mode of getting kids to be successful and graduate. And I'm glad I can be a part of it. So thank you guys.
Yeah. Thank you, Doug. Thanks for being here.
Doug.
If you want to post your email or a phone number or however we can contact you directly in the chat, that'd be super helpful too.
Yeah, I can do that right now.
And so we appreciate that. And any final questions or anything? Okay. Wonderful. Well, Doug, yeah, thank you so much. We really do appreciate your time and your willingness to share with us.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Gotcha.
Doug.
Thanks all. Take care.